Kicker Tyler Bass hits a game-winning 61-yard field goal. The final score, 30-27. Welcome into Bills Postgame Live. We are presented by our new proud sponsor, Paramount Plus. He's Steve Tasker. I'm Maddy Glab. This was a redemption moment for Bass. He missed an extra point during this game, had struggled throughout the season. The Bills even brought in a backup kicker, signed him to the practice squad. They release that kicker this week, and Bass has his moment. A 61-yard game-winning field goal. How awesome is this moment for Bass?
It's got to be great, because I'll say this, a lot of Bills fans were telling themselves when he went up there, listen, if he misses this, we got to get a new kicker. That's it. Their patience had run out with him. Not only did he make a 61, he drilled it. It was never a doubt. And you could tell by the reaction of his teammates what it meant to them and to him. It was a big moment for him, and certainly one that I think a lot of Bills fans, given the way this day had gone for the Bills and for the way Bass's season had gone to this moment, there was a lot of doubters in those stands. They were just, their hands were on their head, didn't know. You heard Kevin Harlan on the call. As soon as he hit it, about a half second into that kick, Harlan knew he had the distance. Man, he thumped it, and thumped it big, and certainly it went through. It was a great moment. It was a hard-fought game. These division games, we had seen and heard the Dolphins had no chance against the Bills. They were too nicked up. They were too injured. Tua was not good enough. The Bills were playing great. You just knew it wasn't going to be that kind of game for these two teams. They've played too many times. They know each other too well, and certainly it came down to the wire. There's a ton of lead changes. It was a really good football game, and of course the Bills come out on top. Even so, they still haven't, I don't think, played their best, and they were able to beat the Dolphins. 3
ties, 4 lead changes leading up to that final drive that Buffalo had to earn them the victory. Bills quarterback Josh Allen gave Bass a huge hug after he ran off the field after making that 61-yard field goal. This game was really about the tale of two halves. There were so many missed opportunities for this team in the first half, but in the second half, it was about making the most of their opportunities, doing a great job in the red zone after struggling early in the first half. Bills quarterback Josh Allen is on the podium after this victory, so let's hear what he had to say.
Exhale.
Josh, what does it say about Tyler's mental fortitude, all he's been through this season, to be able to put that one through in a tough situation?
So proud of him. So happy for him. Got emotional in my little post-game speech out there. Just the trials and tribulations that he's been throughout this year. Obviously missing one early in the day. Hitting the pole on another, he could easily put it in the tank, and 61-yard field goal to win a game against a division rival. It's what stories are made of, and I love him. I respect him so much. Everybody in that locker room is so happy for him, and he's our guy.
Can you walk us through what happens in that moment? And as the kick is about to be attempted, what are you doing? We see you celebrate afterwards, but what are you doing during it? Do you watch? Do you not watch?
Oh, yeah, I watched it. Just, saying a little prayer. And as soon as it goes in, there's 5 seconds left, so I'm screaming, everybody get off the field, because we got to kick off and get a play done. And our defense went out there, and Greg Rousseau executed very well.
Hey, Josh, Morris, Hollins, and Davis all had touchdowns today. What does it say about sort of your trust in them and their ability to make it happen?
Yeah, those are 3 guys that just constantly do the right thing, that are in the right spot. They're working their tails off. Those are also 3 guys that are heavy on special teams. So we know the mantra, what we've been saying each and every week since training camp. And it's just the epitome of what our offense is. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be anybody on any given day, and that's what we saw today.
Ray only had a few touches, but had, I want to say, 90 yards. Just what was he doing that was making him so effective in his game?
Just obviously you see him catching passes out of the backfield. He runs the ball so hard. He just, again, knows his assignment and he does his job, and that's all you need to do in this offense.
Keon had that drop early on what led to the interception. What were the conversations like after that? Obviously you went back to him again, but what was that kind of like, just talking to him after that play?
Yeah, just trusting him. 3rd and long, biggest play of the game. Throw one up for him. Obviously we get the flag to extend the drive, but I trust him implicitly and love the guy, and hopefully he's okay.
This was the 5th time you guys have trailed at the half. this season? I know you don't want to be in those positions, but do you now feel comfortable in them, or at least a little bit more comfortable?
Well, we want to start fast, and that's, been our Achilles heel, and we feel like we're the best, our best in the third and fourth quarter, getting off to a hot start. But if we can put that out in the first and second quarter, we're going to be a tough team to beat.
To that point, it seemed like they did a lot of things with pressure and some variations there that were giving you some problems, at least in the first half, until you guys dealt with it.
Yeah, I honestly, it was a pretty big zone game, whether it was zone pressure or not. They were really forcing us to take everything underneath and hoping that we'd mess up. And, again, just trusting the guys underneath to catch and run, and made some big plays on the play-action pass game, just checking it down. And that's what you can be a dangerous team that way, too.
Josh, this one had a different feel than maybe the Titans game and the Seahawks game. It seemed like you had to grit it out a little bit more. What's it say when you win a game like this and maybe you didn't have your fastball?
Yeah, this game's hard. The other team, they get paid as well. I'd like to be better, obviously, in the first half, and I'd like to be better in that 2-minute drive. Didn't feel like, again, like you said, didn't have the fastball, but, again, just gutted it out. Matt Collins, going back to him on 2 consecutive plays. They're on third down, too, just trusting him. So, yeah, again, it could be anybody, and our guys made some plays today that we needed. Hey, guys.
Hey, Bills fans, Paramount Plus is your home to stream live local NFL on CBS games every Sunday all season long, right through the AFC Championship game. So sign up and sign into Paramount Plus today. That was Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Steve, in this game, it was the tale of two halves. In the first half of this one, the Bills had some penalties. They were shooting themselves in the foot at times. There was a interception that could have gone for a touchdown. In the second half, they start firing on all cylinders, especially on offense. The offense starts moving the ball down the field. Allen starts connecting with his receivers. The run game comes alive, and you see the Bills score on every single possession, a touchdown or a field goal in the second half to earn them the 30-27 victory. What was the difference in the second half of this game?
Well, one, they didn't have 2 touchdowns that they should have scored called back on phantom penalties. First thing. Second thing.
Got to get that out of the
right,
way.
I had to get that out. Secondly, they persevered. Certainly, Josh completed 64% of his passes on the day, but there was a stretch in the middle where he was completing a lot of passes, and they got back to their old habit of converting just about half their third downs. They'd been down to about a third of their third down conversions. Today, they were 5 of 10 on the day. And that makes a big difference. It allowed them to stay on the field, certainly even after the slow start, to get back to half, 50% means they had a really nice stretch where they were converting most of their third downs, could stay on the field, and that led to the scoring drives that they were able to convert. And overcoming the bad drop deflected touchdown / interception on Keon Coleman. Rough start to the day for him. He bounced back with a nice catch later in the game. Khalil Shakir continues to be extremely impressive in his game. I think he is the most dependable receiver the Bills have, and just a really nice day. Quentin Morris continues to impress me with his ability to catch the ball. The flip pass on the touchdown that Josh got to him was a really tough catch. The timing was bad. It was late in the down. The desperation sets in on everybody. You don't know where any of the defenders are. Josh just flips this up. You don't know. He doesn't get anything on it. It's fluttering when he lets go of it, and he greets us up and plucks it out of the air. Tough catch in an absolutely critical moment of the game. You got to have that. And he actually gave the Bills the lead in one of those lead changes that we saw so much in this game. So I think it took everybody on the roster, Tyler Bass coming back and kicking the game winner, Quentin Morris, Khalil Shakir coming up when he did. It was a group effort, no question about it. And I'll say this too, that the 3 penalties in the first half that were absolutely critical in hamstringing the Bills' ability to get out in front, the targeting call on Taylor Rapp.
When Raheem Mostert lowered his helmet.
That was a bad call in my opinion. 2 holding calls back-to-back that called 2 touchdowns back out of the end zone. they overcame all of that and managed to get a 3-point win. And what could have been a very comfortable first half turned into them trailing by 4 at the half.
Just 4 total penalties for the Bills on the day, but 3 of those 4 penalties were very important penalties if you look at how drives actually played out. But they were able to overcome those and not let it get the best of them. On defense, this team had to work with trying to stop the run throughout the entire game. Miami really started to get their run game going in the second quarter. They had 64 rushing yards on 1 drive, and it continued. But the Bills' defense didn't allow that to beat them at the end of the day. Taron Johnson had a forced fumble. Kaiir Elam recovered it. Johnson was on the podium after this one.
Taron, your forced fumble really helped turn the tide. Can you take us through that play and how you were able to make it?
Me just having outside contain. I'm seeing the back. He doesn't see me, so I just looked for that opportunity and was able to make the play.
What was your vantage point for the kick?
I'm like right where they was lined up. You know what I'm saying? Amazing play by T-Bass. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thankful he made it.
What's to say about Kaiir? You know, kind of short notice. Obviously, Benford couldn't go. Not a tough task facing those receivers and how he played today.
Great, man. I mean, I feel like that's the story of our team. You know what I'm saying? When guys go down, other guys step up, and they play at a just enough high level as the last guy. You know what I'm saying? So just having that is huge. I feel like it's the culture of our team, and I just want to make sure that we continue doing that.
What happened on that play where you got banged up in the first half?
I got kicked in the back by somebody. I don't know, but I just got kicked in the back and just kind of a bruise on my backside. So I'm fine though. I feel good.
Did it feel like they were already on the move there on that first possession in the third quarter? Did it feel like the force and the recovery flipped it for you guys?
I think so. That's the name of the game, though. You know what I'm saying? You got to get turnovers, and we did that. Thankfully, they had a drive going, but when you get turnovers at certain points in the game, it changes the tide for sure.
They had a lot of success running the ball. For you guys, how is that something that you improve moving forward?
I just feel as though they have really great weapons on the outside, so kind of like playing, like kind of letting them run the ball, if I would say, you know what I'm saying? Just not giving up explosive plays. I mean, we still gave up, I think, too many, but just making sure we limit those explosive plays.
If you're going to go into a game with that type of mindset, then how crucial are the plays like your forced fumble?
They're huge, and we preach it every single day. Just making sure that we buy tickets, buy opportunities to get the ball back. Kaiir had another one that was really, really close. He was on the ground, but that was a great play as well, you know what I'm saying? So just making sure that when we have opportunities, we make the most of them.
This is another game where you guys were able to erase a deficit at halftime. What changes for you guys as a team?
I don't know. We're just resilient. You know what I'm saying? We know it's a 4-quarter game, and we're not too much worried about the score, just playing hard and executing. So I'd say we just don't focus on the score and just keep playing because we know it's a 4-quarter game.
Thank you.
This week's Player Spotlight is presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills. We are spotlighting the rookie running back Ray Davis for the job he did in this game. 2 catches, 70 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. He also added 20 yards on the ground, averaged 5 yards per carry. Why is he worth spotlighting tonight, Steve?
Well, we always talk about, and it seems obvious that big plays are really important in football games. Yeah. This is the biggest play the Bills have had all year, and Ray catching the short pass, getting up the field, and then running through a tackle, which is absolutely huge. And at the point where your team was struggling, you were trailing by a point at this time in the game, to snap off an enormous play like this, it's a game changer. And the Bills haven't had very many of those. The teams have done a really nice job of keeping a lid on this Bills offense. Most of the big plays the Bills offense have been able to generate have been exactly like this: a short pass and a long run. We've seen it a bunch of times during this first half of the regular season. This is another one by Ray Davis. That's the longest running reception for a touchdown by a running back in a long time. I think C.J. Spillard was the last time. They had 2008. So it's been a minute. since we've had a running back catch one like that, and Ray Davis, that's the reason he's the spotlight tonight.
I think it makes sense that it comes from Davis. Last week, he injected an energy into the offense that we were really happy to see. This week, he has a huge play that goes for a touchdown that gives Buffalo the 7-point lead in the third quarter when they needed some juice. That was one of the plays that kind of kick-started the rest of the second half for Buffalo. Mac Hollins did have that 1-yard touchdown reception at the beginning of the third quarter, and Ray Davis follows it up with another touchdown. It's nice to see the production we're getting from a rookie running back like Ray Davis here in week 9. You never know what you're going to get when you draft a rookie. You see their tape in college. You hope that it translates, but to get this type of production out of him midway point in the season, I think speaks volumes for what he's able to offer going forward.
And it's not just, the production, it's also the style that they use him for. He is a physical inside the tackles runner. And he broke a tackle on the long run you just saw. He's a heavy guy, even though he's not real tall, but he's way over 200 pounds. He's 220, and he's a load to get stopped. You need help if you're a DB coming up to bear up on him. The guy has a physical style that really complements James Cook extremely well. Those two guys have a really good skill set, the two of them together. And Ray Davis has been able to maximize his gift, and kudos to the coaching staff for giving him plays that he can really execute. He's not the passing game running back, but you catch on a swing pass. I mean,
what are you gonna do?
Even little guys can do that, right? So you give him an easy route, and certainly he catches it, and then he's got some space, and he turns into a bowling ball covered in butcher knives. I mean, nobody wants any part of it.
Davis told me, I'm a running back on the field who's a physical monster, but off the field, I'm a grandpa. I like to hang out. I like the simple things in life. He is certainly a monster on the field after seeing him go 63 yards for a touchdown. Davis on the podium after this one. Let's hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I was able to get it, and the biggest thing as a running back, once you get to that third level, you got to be able to make a guy miss. So that was like the biggest thing in my head was make sure I make him miss. After that, I kind of just blacked out from there. I heard the whole crowd, so I assumed nobody was around me. But thanks Josh for believing in me. Being able to make that pass and being a rookie, to me that shows that he has a lot of trust in me to go out there and make a play. And I'm just blessed that he was able to have that faith in me.
That's not been a common theme. He's looked at you for a couple big plays over the last couple of weeks to have that trust continuing to build. What does that mean for you?
Oh, it just shows that he knows I come to work each and every.
Touchdown.
Yeah, I was able to get it, and the biggest thing as a running back, once you get to that third level, you got to be able to make a guy miss. So that was like the biggest thing in my head was make sure I make him miss. After that, I kind of just blacked out from there. I heard the whole crowd, so I assumed nobody was around me. But thanks Josh for believing in me. Being able to make that pass and being a rookie, to me that shows that he has a lot of trust in me to go out there and make a play. And I'm just blessed that he was able to have that faith in me.
That's not been a common theme. He's looked at you for a couple big plays over the last couple of weeks to have that trust continuing to build. What does that mean for you?
Oh, it just shows that he knows I come to work each and every day, and I take in the opportunities that I get on the field and even off the field, just learning from him, learning what he sees, his reads, and what could be better. Even talking to the O-line, even on runs, after plays or throughout the week. Hey, what can I do better? What do I see? What do y'all see? So just trying to be communicative, the best way I can. Again, as a rookie, everything moves so fast for you, but if you're able to slow everything down and don't be afraid to ask questions, you'll find a lot of success.
That was a two-play drive, both to you, and then Keon Coleman gets a 2-point convert. Just the contribution of rookies in that sequence.
Yeah, just not just me and Keon. You got to give our whole class a big round of applause. You got Javon going out there making plays. Same thing with Cole Bishop making tackles on special teams. DC when he was in there. I can go on. There's a lot of us guys who are stepping up and stepping up to the plate. So kudos to those boys. Kudos to Keon. Just again throughout each week, he shows you something spectacular about him, and I'm proud of him. That's my roommate, so we always talk about it as much as we can to be able to go out there and just doing what we love to do. So I'm proud of him, but I'm also really extremely proud of our whole rookie class.
You've been through a lot of trials and tribulations personally. For someone like Tyler, who's gone through trials and tribulations professionally, from your perspective, what does it take to get through those and come out successful the way that he did today?
we love T-Bass. You know, T-Bass, again, he comes to work, hard hat on, lunch pail. He does what he has to do. You know, that's a true professional there. Nothing's going to be easy in life, especially for a kicker to go out there and you have to make a huge kick to win the game. Again, we have all the confidence in T-Bass, and he has all the confidence in himself. So, you know, to go out there and hit a 61-yarder, I think it just shows that he's prepared for this moment. He believes in himself. The whole city of Buffalo believes in him, and we believe in him too as an organization.
Okay.
Thank you.
Paramount Plus is your home to stream live local NFL on CBS games every Sunday all season long, right through the AFC Championship game. So sign up and sign into Paramount Plus today. We heard from rookie running back Ray Davis just speaking to kicker Tyler Bass and how happy they are to see his success. Not an easy road for Bass heading into last offseason. He misses that 44-yard field goal that could have tied the game up against the Chiefs in the divisional round of the playoffs. You go into the offseason with a really bad taste in your mouth, and then you have to go into a new season with a new mindset, with new confidence about you. And Bass struggled this season and has struggled, missed an extra point today. He's been very candid about, I know I have to be better. I know I have to do more for this team and this coaching staff. But the coaching staff has also said, we trust Bass. We want him out there. We believe in him. And he showed that today, making that 61-yard game-winning field goal. I felt for him. You see this guy every single day. You see him go to work. You see him put in the effort. You get to know him as a human being, and you just want him to succeed. And it felt so good to see that go through the uprights today.
Well, it's easy enough for a coaching staff to say, hey, we trust you. It's going to be good. But to put him in to try a 61-yarder with time expiring, they prove they trust him. And he came through for them. You can't put it any other way. He nailed it. I mean, it was never in doubt. And after missing an extra point earlier in the game, and then glancing one off the same upright that he was outside of, glanced it through and made the second one, to come back and pop that's 61 yards. And that's from Bills territory. It's from their own 49-yarder. A 49-yard line. That's a big kick. And for Sean McDermott to put him out there in that spot, I don't know that you really have to sit down and think about the gravity of that kick and the effect it's going to have on him for the foreseeable future. That was a stamp of, I trust you, and Tyler Bass saying, I'm trustworthy. And he put that kick through. That was quite a moment. That might be the moment of the first half of this season, and certainly is for the special teams of this club. And I think that's going to put him in good stead going forward. Sean McDermott told us that he just wants to see Tyler Bass come back and have that swagger about him, that confidence. Hitting a 61-yard game winner, that'll help get your swagger back.
Yeah. Welcome back, Tyler Bass. It's so great to see you hit that 61-yard field goal that could have gone for even more than 61. Bass was on the podium after the game. Let's hear what he had to say. I'm sure he's got a big smile on his face.
What's up, guys?
With everything you've gone through this season, even dating back to last year, the ups and downs, what did it mean to you when you watched that ball go through the uprights?
Man, it means everything. Very emotional. Haven't really processed it yet, but just put in a lot of work, man, and was just focused on right here, right now, the present, and being patient with everything, man. You're going to go through ups and downs, but just continue to put your best foot forward. We did that today, so just very emotional, I would say.
What were you thinking about, leading on that during that drive and all that?
Just reminding myself that, I love this. I love this sport. This is what I've dreamed of. And when I was out there, I honestly wasn't thinking about anything. Just went through my process and trusted my preparation, and that was it.
What was your pregame range going that way? Was that out of range? Or?
No, we hit a couple from 58. I didn't really want to overkick in pregame, but I knew if it come down to it, I had to look for it.
You mentioned it was emotional. Josh also mentioned he got emotional after the game a little bit. What's it mean to hear your teammates continuously just talk about how much they have faith in you?
Man, it means everything. It's why you play the game. You play it for your teammates. and the fact that they've had my back since day one, man, I'd do anything for them. And I'm going to have their back as long as my career is here, you know what I mean? So it means everything, man, and that's what makes this team special. We're close, we have a bond, and we're willing to put it all out there for each other.
When you kick that, obviously it's in between the target, but when do you know it's good? Like the whole way, do you know like it's got the leg?
You know,
or do you
that's a great question. When I hit the contact of the ball, you know, I know I hit it good, and then I look up and I could see it going, and there's not a lot of deviation, and then after that, I know.
What's the technical aspect of it all with a kick that long? Obviously, you do different things on different ranges, right? No, you don't.
I don't. No,
Is
that kick.
Is that the key?
When I ran out there, Sam told me, "Hey, it's a 30-yard field goal," so I hit it the same. I was telling someone earlier this week, an extra point to me, I'm hitting the same as a 50-yard field goal. Maybe 61, I hit a little harder, but I don't change elevation, don't change anything, just swing.
At what point did you know that you were going to go out and attempt that? Because there were a couple of plays where you didn't gain any, you get closer.
I was preparing myself even when Miami was driving down, but when I saw we passed the 50 or at the 45-ish, I was like, okay, like I think we're gonna have a chance. So
When they brought in Lucas, what was your mindset at that point?
couldn't control that. Just honestly, I just went deeper into my process. Lucas was a great guy. We had a lot of good conversations. We kicked well, but at the end of the day, I couldn't control anything they were doing, so I just really dove into my process.
Did that take you back maybe to your rookie year when you were competing for the job? It was almost like you had
Yeah.
to compete for the job.
It really just, again, I just had to find the love for the game, man. It really just brought me back to my absolute fundamental, my basics. Kept it really simple, man, and just really honed in on what I could do.
What do you think this can mean for you moving forward the rest of the season?
Yeah, this means a lot. I've been really patient, but at the end of the day, man, I'm only as good as my next kick, so take the confidence with it and keep it moving.
You see a lot of guys around the league that make field goals like this. We've seen it probably 10 times this year. Were you thinking like, I need my opportunity to do this? Because you hadn't had it yet.
No, I wasn't. I let go of my will for will. I was just going to let whatever happen. I told myself, whatever's going to happen, I'm ready for it. So if it happens, it happens.
You said when they went past the 50, you kind of knew that you needed to be prepared. In that moment, did like Sean come up to you and say like, hey, is this in your range? Or is it just, hey, the signal goes up that you're going for it?
No, we had a certain line, and it was about a yard outside of the line, but Smiley looked at me, and I was already on the field, told him we wanted it. So he trusted me, and I'm thankful that he trusted me to go out there and do what I do.
So you missed one extra point and hit the upright. How do you mentally deal with that when you go out to try 61 yards?
It is what it is, man. Nothing you can do about it.
I mean, is it in your mind at all?
Right after I do it, I do a quick dissect. Okay, what happened? Okay, this is what happened. All right, we move forward, make the adjustment, and that's it.
We talked with you in the locker room a few weeks ago. You were pleased with the love that you were shown by the fans.
Yeah.
How did it feel to have that moment in front of the fans here today?
Man, it feels, again, it's very emotional. To go out there and help my team win, man, it's emotional. And for the fans, too, to give them something to cheer about, man, it means a lot.
Thanks, Tyler.
Perfect, thanks, guys.
Bills kicker Tyler Bass reflecting on that 61-yard field goal that gave Buffalo the victory. In reflecting on it, Bass says it means everything. It was very emotional. I was focused on the here and now. I was reminding myself, I love this. I love this game. Steve, you've played in the league for so long. When you see a teammate, you've had this happen to you before, when you're alongside teammates who are going through something, who are struggling, who are going through a time period where things aren't working out, what is the mindset of a player who's trying to find the love of the game again?
Yeah, it was really interesting to hear Tyler Bass talk like that. It's exactly where you want to be as a player. You got to remind yourself, man, you asked for this. This is what you want to do. You earn the right to have pressure on you. You earn the right to be in a big moment and have them look to you to get your team through it. You earn that right and you strive for it. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. And only when you fail once in a while, or a lot even, do you get the chance for redemption and the chance to to come out and make the most of an opportunity like that. you can't say enough about how difficult it is in that kind of solitary life inside of a team atmosphere where you're the only guy that can do it. If you go down, there ain't nobody else. They got to go for 2. They got to go for on 4th down. They don't try field goals. You're the only guy with that skill set on the roster. It's the same way across the league. So to have to look to the same guy, to that guy to come through, it's really gratifying as a teammate to have the guy come through do that. It's like one more stamp of approval that everybody on our team is doing their job and doing it the right way. It's really affirming and encouraging for the entire roster to have the one guy who only has one thing to do, and then to come through in such a way to win the game for you. It's really gratifying, and it's really a bonding moment for the entire team.
As a kicker, it's sometimes a lonely place to be in the NFL because you are out there by yourself with your holder, of course, but the mindset that you have to have in moments like that, knowing that the Bills are driving, there's about a minute left on this clock. We may get to a point where I'm running out onto the field for a chance to kick a game-winning field goal. The mental fortitude that you have to have in those moments and to not let your mind play those tricks on you, I think says so much about how far Tyler Bass has come to erase the bad moments out and keep those good moments in. And it wasn't just a 61-yarder. He also hit one from 40 and one from 49 today, which 49, an area that he has struggled in. Yes, he misses an extra point, but when you look at his day as a whole, it's way better than just that one miss.
Yeah, he really had a solid day. And, the extra points, if you kick a lot of them, sooner or later you're going to drop one. And you can tell as well how the methodical nature of it, that even the one that he glanced up was like the same kick. A little bit better, but the same kick. So, and I know what he means. You do a quick dissect, and then, to come back, correct it a little bit, and think, you know what? Now it gives you an even better handle on it. The more reps you get, the more comfortable you get, and the more able you are to handle the pressure. So all of those, this being a 30-point game where you've got extra points and field goals going on all the time, it gives you a chance to feel like you're in the game and part of it. So it wasn't like he hadn't worked all day and then came in and hit the 61-yarder. And I hate to say it like this because it sounds like I'm rationalizing it, but missing a kick like that and having another one go kind of like the same way gives you an idea like, wait, hold on a minute. And then to really make a solid adjustment and say, this is what I got. And I'm telling you, the adjustment he made was money because, we'll say it again, that's an easiest 61-looking yard kick you'll see. He threaded that thing. And Kevin Harlan was great on the call, like I said earlier in the show. As soon as he hit it, Harlan's voice went up and said, oh, he's got the distance.
Just no.
And you could see on the broadcast as well, it was going right down the pipe, and the game was over.
We are awaiting Buffalo's head coach, Sean McDermott. When you look at what the defense did in this game, the run game for Miami got going in the second quarter. They had that long scoring drive that went 97 yards. Miami had 64 rushing yards on that one drive, and from there, it seemed like they were able to get big yardage on run plays, popping through holes. The offensive line for Miami was opening things up, and it was tough for the defensive line to clog up those holes into even the second level a little bit as well. The Bills were down a couple defensive linemen as the game went on. Defensive end Dewan Smoot was ruled out with a wrist injury, and then you had another defensive end in Casey Toohill go out with the injury too. What did you make of Buffalo's struggles against a running back like Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane?
Yeah, both those guys had really nice days. I mean, you look at their numbers, they rushed for 149 yards on the day. Most of them were those two guys. I mean, they had 63 from Achane and 56 from Mostert. Jay Wright had 18 on 6 carries, so he was not as effective. The Dolphins ran the ball 31 times today. And Taron Johnson alluded to it during his post-game presser. He says, that's fine with us. Let them do that because we felt like our offense would outscore those guys against that defense. And it turned out to be they shoulda, woulda, coulda if they hadn't had some points taken off the board. That's where you're at. If if Keon catches that ball instead of having it going off his hands, and if they don't get one of the two horrible holding calls they got going in, they wouldn't have had another touchdown taken off the board. So there's 14 points they had taken off the board. Yeah, Buffalo's offense can score, and if Miami wants to run the ball 31 times, that's the game plan. The Bills are perfectly happy to let them do. Now, certainly they'd like to stop them on third downs. They did stop them on half of their third downs, but that's a big number. Just like the Bills put 5 of 10 third downs, they were 4 of 8 on their third downs. And they got first downs on a lot of second downs as well. Tua was lights out today. He was 25 of 28 on the day passing. They just didn't miss in the passing game. But they didn't throw it as much. They threw it 28 times. They ran the ball a ton. They had a lot of offensive plays. But I think that balance is one that the Bills are willing to live with when you've got a high-powered offense with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle out there. They'd really rather have Mostert and Achane running the football than getting them on the ground, hopefully getting them on the ground more, rather than having them air it out. You have a defender fall down or miss a tackle, and it's a touchdown. It was excruciating to watch for Bills fans because they didn't like it, but that was part of the plan. There's no question about it. Taron alluded to it in his post-game comments. He goes, we'll live with their running game. Let them keep doing that. They won't be able to score enough to beat us. And they almost did, but the penalties against the Bills' offense kind of kept them from running away with it. And it turned into a closer game, I think, than the Bills wanted. But that was the game plan they went into, and it ended up working in the end.
We know this defense is built to stop the pass, but when you think about what weapons that Miami has in a Jalen Waddle and a Tyreek Hill, like you said, they wanted Miami to run the ball. Go ahead and try it. Our offense, when they're on the field, they're going to score more points.
Yeah.
It was Miami's second time all season scoring more than 20 points. The first time happened last week in Week 8. Tua's second game back now since that concussion that he suffered against the Bills the first time that Miami and Buffalo faced each other in Week 2. Head coach Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills, he's on the podium right now. Let's hear what he had to say.
All right, praise God. What a great win. Great home environment as always, and what a story, man, what a story. T-Bass hitting a franchise record kick. And that doesn't happen by itself, so I want to make sure I give credit where credit's due. In addition to T-Bass with Sam and Reed and the guys up front that were blocking for him. So just big-time kick for us. Got some injuries. I don't have much information, on the update end for you guys here, so I'll update you when I can.
For Tyler specifically, the person, to see what he's gone through over the course of this season, it seemed like you and him were both pretty emotional post-game when you gave him the game ball. What did that mean to you?
I just think overall that here's a young man that has been going through it. And the journey that he's been on week to week, the questions that have been asked of him, of me, but really, just in terms of him having to field, it's natural. It's the business we're in. I think it's a great example of mental toughness. I think it's a great example of perseverance, resilience, and for young kids out there, right, who here's a player that was under the microscope pretty darn hard. And, we brought a player in here to compete with him and mid-season, and he didn't back down. And I think that says a lot about who he is. And, this journey will continue, but it also speaks to our locker room of even today's game. We missed the extra point, I think it was, and then he was going to have to make a kick later, and he made it in a convincing fashion. So, this game is as much mental as it is physical, and sometimes even more mental. And I couldn't be more proud of him and what he did today.
Sean, how did you reach the decision to even try it there? Because if he misses, they're going to have probably a play and maybe a look at the end zone. So how did you decide you were comfortable trying it?
I took a piece of grass and threw it up, yeah, you're a golfer, so. No, I just I happened to get a glimpse of T-Bass in warm-ups and knew that the 40. I thought he had a pretty good warm-up, especially from deep, and we had a little bit of a win that direction, so I felt good about it, and I trust him, and he came through.
I asked some of the players what their vantage point was for it when it's happening. What are you doing? Do you watch it? Do you look away? How do you have that all like play out?
Yeah, just praying, praying for T-Bass, and just watching the execution really. So just like the fans, right? Other than that, I was a fan watching them, and it's great to see our players react the way that they did after that kick went through. And again, just so happy for T-Bass and his family, and this is what sports is about. Like people in the Buffalo community sitting around their TVs, tailgating all day. The fans who are here tailgating since the morning, some of them since Friday. That's what it's about, man. It's just, I'm driving in this morning, and you're seeing cars full of families, people, friends come to a game, and they get to experience that moment. That's why we all love sports, right?
Hey, Sean, in the sense, do you feel vindicated for how you guys have stood by Tyler?
He did it. I didn't do it. He did it. And I know why you're asking, Joe, but look, he's the one who did it. And again, like I said, the mental toughness that takes. What's it been since last year, right? That the questions that we're starting to pop up, and more this year, and then we bring in a kicker to compete with them, and he just stayed true to who he is, and he stayed true to his process. Even today, like I said, early miss on the extra point, and he stayed true to his process, and I think that's very powerful.
Not suggesting you want to win games on last-minute kicks all the time, but do you think that games like this or wins like this can bring your team closer together, or even closer together, just with the way that they celebrate and react?
Yeah, they do. They certainly do. It's hard, and every week it's hard. You can never take a week for granted, or okay, we'll look at the record and look at the schedule. Oh, we're going to win here, and you get to move a couple, games down the road, and we should be just stay focused on what's right in front of us. You saw it. We didn't play a great game. We can be better, and so we've got to go back and make sure our techniques are sound. Fundamentally, we're better than what we were today. Just a lot to improve on. But when you can win a close one like this, and it's back and forth, and we didn't have our A game, and give them credit. They came in here ready to play, and I thought they did a great job with their coaching staff having that team ready to play. And, we hung in there, and we were taking some punches early. And at halftime, I thought we reset a little bit with more work to go, though.
You brought in some competition for Tyler, but you released Lucas this week. Did you see anything from Tyler that led to that decision? What did lead to that decision? And do you feel like a little Babe Ruth, you called your shot a little bit here? Or?
T-Bass made the kick, man. He made the kick, right? Great snap, great hold. Again, when you're up front in those situations also, that ball normally has a chance to come out low because of the length of the kick. And sometimes those go the other way, right? So you're thinking about that a little bit of, hey, but the way that it was blocked up front, that is just as important as anything. And T-Bass trusts those guys. So Matt Smiley, I should mention him, and Coach Harkey, the coaches, have thought special teams was a factor today for us in a good way.
Sean, Kyer Elam's another player who's been through it. Benford can't go. Kyer has to start. Not an easy task against Hill and Waddle. What did you kind of see how he played?
Yeah, he battled. He went out. He had the one double move, I think it was, on our sideline there, and I thought came within a whisker of knocking that ball down and getting that ball out. 10 and 17, they make it hard. That they had their day with us in the run game. I thought too many times. But overall, when you get 10 and 17 out there, those are tough matchups, and our guys fought.
You may not get to Glab. You got like Morris, Ray Davis, Sean Collins, guys who aren't always in the end zone, but with how you guys want this offense to work, just what did that say about how the team was functioning today?
Well, again, usually teams are rather evenly matched in terms of the top level of the stars, right? Josh is such a good player, but you look around the league, most teams have a star or two or three, right? And so the team really, to me, the journey is, well, who's going to step up for us, right? At critical moments of a game or critical moments of the season, who are the players that are going to kind of come from the depth of the roster and step up into starting roles and play and perform at the level that we need them to for us to win. And you mentioned a few of them right there with Mac and Quentin Morris, right? And so some of those guys are battling through injuries, but they're out there playing, and so I don't take that for granted either.
Sean, kind of along those lines, I think you had 7 rookies active today. Can you just talk a little bit about the contributions that you got from those young guys?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing guys out there that Ray Davis being one of them. You got Solly was out there, Keon. I mean, the list goes on, and you guys never thought I believed in playing young guys. I know that's how it is, right? That guy gives me the updates every year, every week. They don't think you play young guys. We'll play young guys when they're ready to play, and they earn it. And when they earn it, they play. And when they earn it when they're out there and take advantage of the opportunity, they'll get more opportunities. So there's no secret, hey, keep them back, keep them down. Now it's, hey, good players that earn the right to play, they play.
Were Amari or Christian specifically, were they relatively close in this game?
Amari and
Christian.
Yeah. It's hard for me to say. It depends what close is. I would say 50-50. That's not to give you a politically correct answer, even though it is an election week coming up. But honestly, probably 50-50. It was a tough week for both of them. Thought they were going to be good. Then, one had a not a setback, but like just didn't feel good. And so, and again, in credit to our training staff, I mean, we've had our fair share of injuries, and and the coaches too, of hey, who's up, who's going to be able to play, because it affects, one player affects sometimes more than one position and special teams. So, overall, a lot of kind of distractions this week with some of that stuff, but we got to get ourselves back focused and ready to go.
Coach, is this your 80th win? Am I right?
I thought you were going to say, am I 80 years old? I'm like, I feel like it in my heart. I don't know. But good win, though, right? Good win for the home team and the guys, the boys in blue, as Kyle Williams used to always say, the boys in blue came through today. So it's a great environment out there.
Coach, your comfortability with playing the young players, is that what it is with the depth of your roster, using the entire roster a little more?
Yeah, I've always been comfortable playing young guys. You just got to earn it, right? I'm not going to put you out there and you look, one of our veteran players in the eye, and I'm responsible for putting them out there. And if they're not ready to play and they haven't earned it, then I'm doing them a disservice. I'm talking about the veteran players. So things are earned here, and those that earn it and take advantage of the opportunity get more opportunities. It's really not a complicated formula. So I think, to Brandon's credit and our scouting staff, this group this year has been has come as not only talented, but has come in with a lot of really good intangibles. Not that the ones before haven't, but you talk about, just basic day-to-day routines, being hungry to earn the right to play, and yet grateful with a certain level of gratitude to be on the team, and taking their role. You look at, I mentioned Cole Bishop on special teams. He was out there, played some defense for us in the Houston game. Now he's been just primarily a special teams player, but you saw him show up again the last couple of weeks, as late as today, with I think it was a really good play on the kickoff coverage. And I mean, those are important pieces for us. And Cole will be fine. He just got to continue to grow and develop. But all of it is experience. And if you're learning from experience, in the end, you'll be fine. All right, thanks, guys.
Paramount Plus is your home to stream live local NFL games on CBS every Sunday all season long, right through the AFC Championship game. So sign up and sign into Paramount Plus today. Sean McDermott said, as long as you're learning, you're doing all right. What do the Bills learn from a game like this where they're down at the half, and in the second half, they really take over?
Yeah, you learn how important the beginnings of these games are, and how bad it feels when you're struggling to but it's still close. How bad it feels when you can't find your rhythm early in this game, and also how important it is to come out ready. They came out and struggled out again out of the gate, 3 and out, I believe, 3 and out on the first drive. 2 runs, then a pass was incomplete, and they're walking off the field, taking their chin strap off. It's pretty frustrating. But to come back and have the success they did, and to have the entire team kind of adhere to the game plan, and I'll say it again, that their game plan, there's no doubt they could have thrown another defensive lineman on the field and done more to stop the run game. But their game plan was to entice the Dolphins to take the ball out of Tua's hands and out of Tyreek Hill's hands and out of Jalen Waddle's hands and give it to Achane and Mostert. They could live with those guys. Now, those guys had a great day. Make no mistake about it. Miami scored 27 points on the Bills. The Bills ended up with 30, and it should have been significantly more had there not been penalties taking points off the board. So the Bills kind of felt good about their game plan, although it turned out, because of the early struggles of their offense and the early bad things that happened, they ended up not scoring as many points as they probably should have. Hanging in there with the game plan when it doesn't look all that pretty. Don't get desperate. Don't do anything crazy. You didn't see Josh Allen putting his cape on all that often. He had one 21-yard run for a touchdown taken back, but it was there. He took it. Didn't take a hit at the end of it. Playing within yourselves, within the system, still led to a victory, even though they had some bad things happen to them.
The Bills are now 7-2 on the season. Up next, an away game against the Indianapolis Colts, and then the Bills are back here to face the Kansas City Chiefs a bye week after that, and then a home game against the San Francisco 49ers. Coming up, a tough stretch for Buffalo. So where does this team go from here?
Well, I think these 2 games, this game today, there's a little bit like an opening day game of the year. Tua was out for 4 weeks. He came back early, and he came back and had one game last week where they looked pretty good. But you think now with 2 weeks now and they did. They played a little bit better. This was a little bit like an opening day game on the season. So the Bills' defense didn't know exactly how they were going to change or if they were going to change their offense under Tua. Mostert and Achane were very good. Their offensive line, this defense was new people and was injured. It was a little bit of unknown territory for this coaching staff and the club. They came out and handled it extremely well. This next week, same thing. You can look at all the film you want about the Indianapolis Colts, but Joe Flacco's only played 1 game for them this week. You haven't even seen it yet, right? So there's a lot of newness coming up in this next game as well. And, of course, then you've got almost like a divisional matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a team the Bills play twice a year, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs. So this is a very familiar foe coming up. So all of these teams present different challenges, but the Bills are familiar with all of them. They're going to have a new team and a different offense to get ready for, despite the one they're watching on film in Indianapolis Colts. And they're watching an old division rival, a very good football team coming in the Kansas City Chiefs before the bye.
The Bills sweep the Miami Dolphins in their regular season series, win both games. They've now won 6 straight games against Miami and 13 out of the last 14 against the Dolphins. This one was close, but the Bills continue to dominate against this AFC East rival. We want to thank you for tuning in to Bills Postgame Live, presented by Paramount Plus. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We'll see you all next week.